What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the South Star Classroom. Now, check this out. I'm on the road. It's gonna be a different show, not really a full show. I didn't want to cancel though. I'm on the road in Memphis currently at Kip Memphis in Memphis, Tennessee, which has become like another home for me. We are here to honor the wonderful and amazing Miss Sarah Carpenter, who runs the Memphis Lift. These last few days have been their parent uh, education retreat workshop and stuff, and I spoke 2 of these days, and tonight is the gala. So the team, we were gonna, like I said, I didn't want to cancel the show because we got the people like you who show up, and I if I didn't, I wasn't able to give you advance notice, um, and I didn't have no time to upload a video, but it's all good though. So this will be a truncated show. So if there's something that as you tune in that you want to hear me discuss, or you want to be in conversation with me on, I'll start with 10 minutes, maybe 15. And if something keeps rolling, then I'll keep going. Um, if not, then I'll just end it early, which is completely fine. But again, I do this for you all, and and I'm also happy that the team gets to get a bit of a break this week. If you work in education or around it, this little 6 week kind of sprint towards the end of May, beginning of June, there's a lot. It's just a very tiring time if you work anywhere in or near education, whether that's K-12, college, all that stuff. There's all kind of graduations and end of year stuff like that. So it's pretty. It's a pretty big blessing. So I'm glad that the team, I hope they get to rest. And we're close to getting Omar Yanar back. So I'm ready for that. I'm ready and willing and can't wait for that to happen. What are some things I want to talk about? So here's the thing. I did two different talks. One of the talks that we did, the panel was around the new Niagara work. And this work is really important, especially to Memphis, because this is where we started the tour almost a year ago to the day. And it was just really special. And to see where that research has gone. But let me just give you some highlights from that joint because I can share with you what I share with them. So we did this research and it covered five different states. All right, it's based off the original Niagara movement, which was led by W.B. Du Bois, Trotter, a few other people, and it was during the time of Reconstruction, and they were looking to solve issues that was plaguing Black people, and in doing that, um, some special things happened. And Booker T. Washington and W.B. Du Bois was kind of in a back and forth. I have a really, really firm love and respect for both of those men. I actually think that their debates and disagreements were important. And I think they were needed. I think they were both needed because none of this stuff is monolithic. There's a million and one ways to skin a cat. I think that there's a lot of ways you can solve a problem. So when we also in the new Niagara, in the Niagara movement, the original one, the NAACP came out of that. In this new Niagara, we wanted to get back to basics. And that whole thing came about a few years ago when the Supreme Court was ruling on affirmative action. And I just knew that there were more things to come. This is before Trump was elected. This is before a lot of the things that's happening now were happening. But I just read the tea leaves I remember being a young kid and the affirmative action in Michigan case was big. And I just remember hearing that. And so here's my general belief. I think that these systems, I'm not in love with any type of school system. I'm not in love with traditional public school systems. I'm not in love with charter school systems. I'm not in love with private school systems. I don't cape for systems. I don't work for systems. I work for people. And so if our kids are in traditional public schools, charter schools, private schools, home schools, micro schools, whatever the case is, I try to show up for them. And as imperfect as it may be, I definitely try to show up for them. And so wherever our people at, you got to push those things. You got to be ready to fight like hell. You got to really, really be on that because listen, man, I'm gonna just be real with y'all. And I really get to do this anymore where I just look in the camera and just talk without much prep and just, or have a plan. This is kind of refreshing. But I got to be real with y'all, man. We continue on. People continue to celebrate 20% literacy across the country with Black people or whatever. And that's terrible, man. It's just so terrible. Like the fact that we are still. I'm 41. The same issues that we've been talking about and what people were passionate about and people shed tears about during this parent summit, it's the same stuff that I was hearing at 14. And then you go back and do research, it's the same stuff happening that was happening when my parents were 14. And then, for how many years, how many hundreds of years are we going to kind of be on this type of time? And I just was so motivated being here, man, and talking to these parents who are just giving it their all and really trying to fight for our kids, man. And it's a tough, it's a tough battle. But here's the thing that I would just I ask them and I'll ask you. I mean, when are you ready? When is enough enough? Like when can't you take anymore? When do you say, yo, like I'm just I can't stand this anymore? I just assure you that if anything else in this country ran at a 20% success rate, and not even really success, we're talking about the bare minimum. We're talking about kids being able to read on grade level. We're talking about literacy. We're talking about them being able to understand concepts and read different documents and have, you know, thoughts and compare documents and to form a new thought and things like that. Like, when is enough going to be enough? Like you got to really think about this literacy thing. This is not a fake backdrop. I'm like still in the auditorium. Like this was filled with people earlier, and then for the gala tonight, down the way, there would be um, those same people would come back in nice clothes and beautiful, and we're gonna all honor Miss Sarah. I'm gonna be wearing the same thing. I didn't get all suited and booted, but I think I look pretty. I think I look decent. But if you're watching this though, yo, like, and let me know, comment. I want to talk to you. Don't make me talk to myself. But when is enough gonna be enough? Like when you drive through Oakland, when you drive through Memphis, when you drive through parts of Flint, when you drive through parts of Detroit, when you drive through parts of Chicago, when you drive through places where it's mostly Black people, and you look at the blight, you look at the crime, you look at the streets, like somebody has actively disinvested in these places. And then we got people that look like us that's out here fighting to uphold systems that don't care or love you. I keep saying this and I have to like sit down and write so I can articulate it properly. This would not be a good articulation either. This would not be a good articulation either. But I'm just gonna speak to you from the heart, man. Like yo, it's people that look like us that's fighting to uphold these systems. They love the systems. These systems don't love you. Like, why, as a people, are we keep continuing to look outside of ourselves for people to love us? You look for the school system to love you. You're looking for your presidential candidates to love you. You're looking for, like, who else, man? Like I've just seen this a lot. It's like, I'd have a beer with that leader, or as long as you listen, love yourself, love your family, love your wife, love your husband, love your boyfriend, love your girlfriend, love your children, love your grandmama. Like these are the people that need to love you. But if you keep begging systems to love you, as a kid who grew up in Oakland, I'm gonna say this and it might feel incendiary, and I don't mean it to. You are begging to be pimped. You keep telling the system, love, love, love. I need love. So you know what they'll do? They'll just start lying to you and saying shit like, "We love you," and that'll buy them another generation. Candidates like for public office will just tell you they love you because that's what they need to get your support. This is basic stuff. If you're a person out there who like really like somebody and then they told you they love you, they finally did, right? Think about how that like drops your guard. And the and we just be some of the people like we just keep falling for that. But love isn't 2 out of 10 being able to read. Love isn't like a worse literacy rate and growth of literacy than a little bit after slavery ended. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like it just really, these are some very simple concepts, man. But like, just go with me for a minute, right? Like, just really think. And my friend Kurz has said this. I've said this before. You know, I want to give him credit because I know he said it on the record. But I've said this a bunch. I've always thought, and I know a lot of you have thought it. Just really conceptualize a slave master could do whatever he wanted to a slave. He could take their kids. He could cut off appendages. He could burn them. He could bug break them. He could trade them and sell them. And when the baby comes, give one to their kid and to their daughter or whatever, and playing their hair like it's a rag doll. You can do all this stuff except teach them how to read, except have them be literate. Because Frederick Douglass said that, once you're literate, you're not worthy of being a slave. You can't be that. Fast forward, and like, let's stay back in time. Let's not even fast forward yet, right? Think about that. People risk life and limb to learn how to read. They risked, in some cases, like appendages or their manhood. Like let's just really, they could do whatever they wanted to a slave except teach them how to read. It pissed off the institution of slavery and power and all its dynamicism so much that they would punish white people if they taught black people, if they helped black people learn how to read. It was dangerous, not just for the slave, but for the white person who might have been aiding and abetting. So now, fast forward, we in 2025. And I'm telling you that across this country, give or take, literacy rates for black kids, brown kids, poor kids is hovering around 2 out of 10. It's a little bit better in some places. It's worse in other places. They won. They fucking won. And so my thing is this. So now, so why are we debating? Why am I hearing people say, when you take your kid to a private school, or you put your kid in that charter school, or you homeschool, you're hurting the system? Did you just say that to me? Did you just? I don't use terms like Uncle Tom and things like that lightly, and I don't really want to revert to that now. But if what is more Thomish than a black person telling another black person that it's their duty to save a system that doesn't shut down its own schools? They'll shut down the charter school. They'll shut down other stuff like charter school. Again, I am not a traditional public school advocate. I'm not a charter school advocate. I'm not a private school advocate. I'm an advocate for our people. But do you hear how dumb that sounds? Do you hear how dumb that sounds? And again, being here in Memphis, man, where there is so much love and so many people that's doing their best, and then you go outside and there's so much crime and people are like in it. Like, young people in Memphis are dying. Young people in Chicago are dying. Young people in Oakland are dying. Young people in Harlem are dying. Young people in Des Moines, Iowa are dying. And so, like, I am a very imperfect vessel. I've done a lot of dumb shit. I have, and this, and I'm not perfect. I don't even have, like, but that guilt, that feeling, like, that other side do shit every day. Don't feel no kind of remorse for it. Nothing at all. We started the South Star Classroom originally, yeah, Philadelphia too, right? Originally, it was called, uh, uh, we had self-determination in the name, and I changed it because somebody else had like another, they it was too similar to another popular show that was coming out. But a part of me feels like I should have kept it because ain't nobody coming to save you, man. Ain't nobody coming to save you, mom, dad, grandmama, whatever. Like, if you're gonna keep your kid in that system, that's fine. But you can't really negotiate. You have no negotiation power if you can't step away from the table. If I have no kids, don't want any, but let's say I had a daughter, and and let's say that daughter was getting her first car, and I was buying it, and I would go and let's say I went to the car dealership with her, and she wants these cars, and they're trying to sell it to her. What I would tell her is like, we gotta be okay walking away from the table. If we're not okay walking away from the table, we're not negotiating. We're just determining the level of which we want to get screwed over. I mean, 20% literacy. I'm not talking about, oh my God, man. I'm not talking about social emotional learning. I'm not talking about like AP science and chemistry. I'm not talking about field trips. I'm not talking about like all this crazy stuff or whatever. I'm just talking about basic shit like learning how to read. And 2 out of 10 can do it. And we arguing about dumb shit. Like I don't care about Donald Trump. Like I don't like this dude. I didn't vote for this guy. But I also don't want to hear somebody telling me like, well, Donald Trump is the reason that schools suck. These schools been sucking for 100+ years, my dude. 100+ years. At where is the communal agency that says this ain't good enough? How is it that per capita more people learn how to read faster? Listen, man, right after slavery ended, there was a few people, black people, that could read. And you know what those people did? They put their coins and pennies together. And they had like a one-room church. They had something. And they said, Mark, you of us can read. Mark is the teacher. Mark, teach these people how to read. How is it that we can have all these conversations about pedagogy and like we got a bunch of big names for shit and ain't because we ain't doing shit? You can keep changing the names. You can keep like overcomplicating this stuff. You really can. You really really can. You feel me? But like it really comes back to the basics. Can people read? Can they read? Why are 8 out of 10 kids in this country just fit to be slaves? That's basically what you're saying. That's important. And this is hurtful in a sense, man. Like whether you're black, you're brown, I don't care if you're like if you're Cambodian, if you're Irish or whatever the case is, right? Like these systems have not been serving you well. So how do you start to hold them accountable? Where is your I can leave the negotiation table? If it's illegal to not send your kids to some type of school, then what are the other alternatives that you got so you can apply some kind of pressure? What if for 20-day count, because teachers strike every other week when shit's not going their way. And that's fine. Advocate for yourself. Just don't make it seem like you're doing this on behalf of kids, because I love a good teacher. Can't stand the union. I love unions as a whole in general, but that damn teachers union is different because it ain't about your kids. So what if parents and students was just like, yo, on 20-day count, like at the end of this, we just for those 20 days, we're all our kids are out. They just not here. They'll come on day 22. Like you have to be able, if you make a threat, you have to have some type of form or apparatus to cash in on that threat. You have to. So when I'm here in Memphis with the Memphis Lift, and I've seen them shut down bad schools, they shut down bad traditional schools. You know what else they did? They shut down bad charter schools too, because fuck a system. I'm not wearing a jersey for a system. Charter leaders don't care about me. Them private leaders don't care about me, and them traditional leaders don't care about me. The system is designed to protect and serve itself. It was a lot of people that gave talks here, people that I love and respect. Dr. Steve Perry made a really good point, and it's a point that I've made before too on camera, because it's just, I remember being in Oakland and being frustrated, and I said something to my friend Brian, who at the time was running the Oakland Education Fund. He was like in charge of the money, and I was just like, man, like I said something about education. He said, "Oh, buddy, you think this district is about students." And I mean, and there are some people with good hearts, and it is. But bro, we're the second. We're the in Oakland. I think Oakland OUSD is the second largest job provider in Oakland. Here in Shelby, in Memphis, the Shelby County School District or whatever it is the third largest job provider. These systems are economic centers that we put your kids in and make them attend by law. And the people that tend to make the most money from them, when it do not stop, it will keep coming in. It would roll in like dough. Don't tend to not live there. Don't put their kids there. Don't tolerate it. I like when people were complaining during like all the like, those summers about cops and the cops need to live in a community. Guess what? Go. I want to see the study. You can do it for teachers, you can do it for central office staff. I want to see the study that says what percentage of those people with children live in that place, live in that city, and their kids either go to or did or attended that system, that district. And I think you'd be shocked. I think you'd be shocked. But look, evil gonna evil, baby. Systems gonna system, baby. I don't hate anything. I just don't care. I'm just not concerned with protecting an entity that's more protected than the president. Yeah, how stupid that sounds. So we gonna leave vulnerable babies and their families out here with no protection and protect some shit that's more protected than the fucking president. Yo, listen, man. Go in your town and just look up the schools that have been performing the worst, and then look and see how long they've been performing the worst. And after you do that, look and see when the damn school was built. What's better protection than a school that's been erected for 120 years and ain't never done a good job by the black and brown people that it serves, but it's still standing and people still making money and it's still whoop, whoop, all that stuff. What better protection have you ever seen in your life? Also, the other thing I talked about was they said how you make a change. I said, listen, regardless of what city, where you are, um, when you go to these board meetings, you start treating these teachers. I spoke to the importance of men being involved and engaged. Let me tell you this. When I worked in Oakland at OUSD, I watched, different groups, mostly women groups, like come in, speak on things, and I saw how they got talked to. I saw those things. Do you know how all that shit was shift when a black man came and just stood next to them? Or when the brown man came and just stood there and was just there? The bass in their voices dropped. The chests wasn't as poked out. Like at some point, the village has to come back with not just the pitchforks, you know what I'm saying? But they gotta really be ready to poke. I'm not advocating for violence or nothing like that. Don't misconstrue my words. What I'm saying is that maybe, just maybe, these systems shouldn't be able to feel so safe and always play in your face. In Oakland, California, that raised me, where I grew up, and the district where I cut my teeth and I worked in it at some of near the highest level in comms and family engagement. When I left, Kyla took over. super dope sister from Oakland. Went to those schools from the Bay. And because we said we wanted somebody homegrown that wasn't going to cut and run and leave and all this stuff. And for the record, Antoine didn't necessarily cut and run. If you knew all the intricate details, I think most of the decisions he made would make perfect sense to you. But I digress. That's a different conversation. I'm always going to show love to Antoine Wilson because I watched that man care about kids, especially black kids, and I watched his own staff railroad him. I watched his board railroad him. I watched the city railroad and abandon him. I watched it. I watched people lie. I watched certain newspapers get stories with incorrect information and still publish it, even though they knew. So that's a whole different thing for a different day. But Kyla, because the anti-charter people and the anti-choice people won the school board, and they just hate anything that is not pro-union, that does not feed into whatever the union's plans are for that city, they just bend over. So you know what they did? When this sister has, I think, less than 2 years or around 2 years left in her contract, who's from Oakland, who didn't leave, who didn't bail out, who stayed and was doing the best she could, they didn't help her. They just undermined her the entire time because she's a brilliant woman. She's brilliant. She's brilliant. They forced her out. No plan, no real succession. So now a floundering district that just barely got out of state receivership, but is continuing to knock on the door to re-enter state receivership again, as a new layer of uncertainty. That's the shit systems do. And that system's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. You know who's not? The fucking kids inside of it. You know what's changed? When I was a student there, black kids were the majority in that district. It was a chocolate city. Let's just say it ain't a fucking chocolate city no more. Let's just say black kids ain't the top demographic there anymore. So now, to my brown brothers and sisters, I love that community. That community has always welcomed me with open arms. I don't expect them to love me. That's not their job because I love myself. So I can go into things clear-eyed with them and we can have honest conversations because they're the majority now. And this is and here's where I would give them credit. They'll work with people differently. They have a plan for their people, and they kind of stand on it. Because let me tell you, a lot of Latino families is not afraid to go across the street to a charter school, to get into some other type of homeschooling situation or whatever the case is, and they know they're the top. And I love seeing it. I like that they know that there's strength in their numbers, and if they decide to go, it's going to be a problem. You know who else is doing good like that in Oakland that I've seen? Arab community. Love them. You all might not know this, and Jamoke Hinton could attest to this because we talked about it together. You want to know something we proposed? You want to talk about innovation? We have a huge Middle Eastern population and they're continuing to grow in Oakland and in the Bay Area, right? We proposed a Black Yemeni immersion school. And the reason in West Oakland, West Oakland is still one of the last bastions of a Black strong presence in Oakland. And there's this growing Yemeni population, and they have some connection as far as the African roots and melanin inside their skin, and where they interact. And it might have just been cool for kids to have like that kind of immersion. And we in that plan. This is when the amazing Chris Chapman was still in OUSD and their Man Up program. And we said, and let's embed the Man Up program. And excuse me, y'all, I might be, I might be getting the program name a little boggled or whatever. I'm just, like I said, I don't have notes in front of me. But anyway, that program that was focused on boys, embed them in a school. And then Chris's office also had one for girls. Like, let's try this thing and put in two new entities that's really been making some type of noise. Obama stamped on it. You know what I'm saying? He definitely loved what they were doing in Oakland or the idea that they were going with. And I don't even know if the idea ever got to Chris. This was something that we had at a high level. And I just watched it die on the vine. You know why? Because systems don't want to do shit different. They don't have to. Even to their own detriment. OUSD, like other countless districts with black students across the country, are losing black students in droves. And they're only half-heartedly trying to retain or get them back. You know why? Because it's set up for it to reset itself. So those are my unfiltered thoughts without my co-host and no guest on today and no real plan. I'm just here, like I said, I'm just here in Memphis, man. You turn on the news, another kid is getting killed, another kid is dying. You know, like you keep hearing about teacher shortages and things like that. That's another problem, man. When you have to beg people to be in the profession, guess what? You're not gonna get the best teachers, dog. It's not how that works. Hey, Bill, I hear you on the. I'm not here for Teach for America hate. Let me tell you why. I fuck with Teach for America. I fuck with Teach for America. I used to work for Teach for America. I didn't go through it, and I wasn't Teach for America, and I used to feel like you did before I worked there. But let me tell you why I fuck with them. Because when I worked there, we actually had homegrown Oakland, like black, brown people that wanted to teach come up through TFA, and they stayed. We signed one of the best contracts that kept them there. We did, and they worked hard. And people like to shit on Teach for America, but ain't made a better one yet. Ain't made a bigger one yet. We still begging people to teach. You still begging. So when you beg, you get what you get. At least, and I know those people. Those people worked their ass off, and they were smart, and they worked hard. I went to school there before there was a Teach for America, bruh. And it sucked. It sucked. Kids then still couldn't fucking read. So we like to scapegoat. We love to just make this a other people problem. But you know what? So now that we know that, okay, if the system ain't shit, we ain't saying you don't like the teachers, you don't like Teach for America, you don't like these people, cool. The blood keep being passed to somebody else's hand when it's like, no, man, this is on all of us. Where's the homeschool colonies? Going to Chinatown in Oakland. Go to Lincoln Elementary, which is a traditional public school. Vast majority of those teachers is Chinese. Not sure how that worked out. They got what they wanted. I went to school board meetings, almost every school board meeting for like 3 years straight. I promise you, for me, I never saw that community have to come in and yell and scream for things that I saw black people, brown people, and some of them white people in the hills that did not like what was happening. I didn't see it. They just did what they did. And you know what they did on top of that? Even if they got what they wanted, Lincoln is a really great school. You know what else they did? Let me tell you, they still make their kids go to Chinese school, either all day Saturday or every day after school during the week. Because they're not leaving their destiny up to a United States fucking traditional system. They're using it and making it work for them while they're also doing their own thing. Where's my black school at for all day Saturday? Where's my black school at after school? That's teaching us our real history and who we are and what it means to love yourself and love your community and have your community love you, so we not out here begging, crying, and begging for a superintendent to fucking love you. It's pathetic. And this ain't no thing where you blaming the victim. I grew up in this. This is me as somebody who actually knows the power of my community and loves his community. I love them. And I think that we are better and we can do more than what we're doing. That's what I think. That's what I think. And we keep talking about what somebody else did. Well, guess what? Now let me talk about what I'm doing and what I'm not doing. I'm building more free curriculum. So there's there's the agentic black parent that's completely free, a workbook to help you with that navigation. I got like, whether it's a book or ebook, I have like 8 properties that's out. I charge for one. And I don't charge for that. If you want it, you can have it. I'll give it to you. I will send you the PDF because it's not about that. It's about saying, yo, we got to take accountability and responsibility for our own people if we love our people. We say we love our people. Last thing, because I know we like to throw a lot of stuff on white people. And listen, racism is a real thing. It ain't going nowhere. Poverty ain't going nowhere. All these constants exist. So don't tell me like we can't do shit until those things end, because guess what? The nothing shit'll never happen. Life ain't fair. It is what it is. Poverty looks different now. A poor kid has $1,000 iPhone in his pocket. It's hard to compute right now. Like the world is upside down in a lot of different ways, right? So let's just, but it's like, oh, with them white folks this, them heels and all that, whatever, right? Some of them ain't thinking about you and don't care what you do. But when I did the new Niagara, when I did that, we went to Atlanta. And in our conversations in Atlanta, you want to know what it was? What happened? Everybody was black. Leadership was black. Districts were black. But you know what happened? There was some black people that had some money and some black people that didn't. And the black people that had some money was not fucking with the black people that didn't. And the black people that had some money said, don't put them fucking kids nowhere near my kids. So maybe this is a power thing. Like race is always going to be a constant thing. And of course, there is some white supremacy, like, like this shit is set up, okay? Charles is never going to deny that white supremacy is a thing. So if you're a right wing person and you was getting your rocks off listening to that, let's skirt that shit off. But they killed King. They killed King here in Memphis. They killed Martin Luther King when he started talking about rich and poor. Now I've been really poor and I've had a few coins. And when I tell you that some of the worst shit I've ever heard said about black people came from other black people with some coins, and when my Mexican homies tell me that he heard some of the worst shit ever said about Mexicans came from other Mexicans with some coins, I'm just saying, man, it's just these people here work hard, man. I had a few people crying afterwards after we finished one of the talks, and she was just so grateful. She was an educator, she was a parent. She's just been giving her all, and she just was crying because she felt like people were missing one of these points. So I felt like I needed to really. I actually was just gonna cancel the show and like, or just talk to y'all for 5 minutes, and I don't know if you can hear the music in the background. The gala don't need me. This is the happy hour. They'll be fine. I ain't nobody. I'm not. I'm just a guest. I did my job. So y'all are fine. Let's do what we do. But you mean to tell me, man, with this internet where we can have videos playing in Beirut and uh, fucking Egypt, and I can get online and play a game of NBA 2K against a kid in Ecuador? Like we can't build out like curriculum that our people can have and our kids can learn on their own accord. Like we can't. You telling me we can't do it? You telling me that like if people that were slaves with no computers, no money, most of them couldn't read themselves, but they found a few in the village that could and spent their pennies and their coins. And we had one of the most enlightened generations of black people ever directly after slavery. We curse and disrespect our ancestors when we do not build upon what they set for us. And then we let our youth say disrespectful shit like, I'm not my ancestors, you'll catch these hands. Well, what fucking hands is people catching now? Bro, one of my best friends got murdered going from 8th to 9th grade. He was a functioning illiterate kid. A lot of my friends that I went to school with got murdered before they was 25 years old. And most of them was functioning illiterate people. Most of them did not see themselves represented in those schools. They saw themselves represented in the streets. They saw money and access in the streets. They saw that girls respond to people in the streets. And that's the risk they took and paid the price with their lives. But we still talking about, I want that superintendent to love me. Are you trying to date the fucking superintendent, cuz? Are you trying to date the fucking president? Why are you looking for love everywhere except for within yourself or your own family? Go talk to your mama that you ain't talked to in however long. Go make up with your brother over the bullshit y'all fell out for. Relearn what a fucking community is. I'm sorry, man. I don't want this to sound angry, and I'm nowhere near perfect. I so fuck up. I so mess up all the time. But I take responsibility for my people, man. We more concerned about what celebrity is screwing with other celebrity. We more people tuned in and can tell me all about the fucking Diddy trial, but don't know none of the local fucking rules that's happening around them or the rights that are being stripped from them. But tell me more about fucking Diddy and Cassie, please. And I know somebody gonna say we can do two things, but you're not doing two things at once. You're not. Because people that look like you are still fucking dying in droves. And then the other ones that get some power and get a position in a union because they just need a black space to tell all of these other people X, Y, and Z are telling parents that's leaving that system for greener pastures or at least a fighting chance that is they fault that the public education system is. I can't stand these people, boy. I swear for God. I swear for God, man. Look, my homie got murdered. He got murdered. And right before I came to Memphis, I had to go to New York. And a school that he started that's thriving with beautiful black kids and beautiful Spanish kids. And we named the cafeteria after his memory and his legacy. So maybe that's why I'm a little more, maybe it's adding to it. It's a lot of death. It's a lot of real consequences, right? Like, and but he did something every day. That man died, and there's so many schools that exist because he's around. I was working with some young people, and I brought up the W.E.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington. I was lecturing on both, and I showed love to both. And one of them said, Cole, are you a Tom? Because you speaking about Booker T. Washington in a positive manner. I said, bruh, that man built over 100, he built hundreds of schools. You ain't done nothing. He was a slave. He was born into slavery and got free and did some shit. Yeah, he might have had a message that I don't feel, but I'm privileged enough to not have to feel it. Because you know why? Because I wasn't born a fucking slave. And I also see value in W.B. Du Bois. On this trip, man, I got to listen. I got some really cool friends in this. I don't like a lot of people in this education space, but there's a few that I really rock with. And I was just at dinner. I'm not gonna say their names because it was an intimate dinner and we were talking, but I got to just listen to them talk. And I really admired both these brothers. And I loved the debate that was happening because it reminded me of W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington. It reminded me of two sides of a coin that's needed because there's multiple ways that you can skin a cat, but somebody needs a fucking plan and somebody has to execute. And one of them just said, "Fuck that system, burn it all down." And I did the thought experiment. Like, what would happen? Only 20% of the kids can read anyway. I just listen, man. There are times when I hate being in this field. I'm grateful for it and I'm blessed to be in it. I didn't choose it though. It was kind of a calling. I'm tired of guilt tripping people into feeling like they have to teach because the teaching pool is so bad and it's so lacking of black men and black people in general, but specifically black men. I don't understand why coaches, basketball coaches with no pedagogical training are some of the best teachers I've ever had over these other highfalutin fucks that have told me over and over, whether you get an A or not, I get paid or not. I get paid regardless. Those are black teachers that told me that. I've been told that I would have to use multiple hands to tell you how much I heard that shit in grade school, cuz this shit is stupid, bruh. But I can get a headline and I can talk about how terrible Donald Trump is as if bad education started yesterday. I don't love none of these systems. I don't love Democrats or Republicans. I don't love. You have to start treating these things like the stoplight. You don't love your neighborhood stoplight. You don't need your neighborhood stoplight to love you. You know what you need? You need that bitch to turn green, yellow, and red when it's supposed to. And when it don't, you get a new fucking stoplight, man. Your kids can't wait. This has been another episode of. Oh, I didn't know somebody was in here. I think Jude popped in. Let's see if she wants to join. Do you want to join, Jude? I can see you can just nod yes or no before I bring you on camera. Okay. Hi, Jubilee. How are you? I did not expect you to come in. How are you doing? You're muted. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I was sitting here listening to your soliloquy, and
I need an Omar level rant today. How did I do?
you did great. You covered multiple topics. I feel your passion through the screen, and yeah, I'm just here for moral support.
Oh, oh, well, listen, man, we have a beautiful fan base. There's like 40 something people in here live with us. So I
Hi.
could they needed to be fed. We have an obligation. And so and I felt that y'all needed a break as well. Like it's not, I really was gonna just come on here for 5 minutes and say what was happening. Like I said, I'm still in the main auditorium where I just got through presenting not that long ago, but a few hours ago. So and I'm just having a good time with them. And I when the whole team is here, I got to share the mic and pass the ball. So today I was able to hold it down a little bit. I think I held us down a tad. So and people that's listening, these are my thoughts. These are my expressed thoughts. These are not does not represent Omar, Jubilee, or David. FYI.
Well, so can you just tell me what started it? Did somebody make a comment about Trump that you thought was absolutely irrelevant or white supremacy?
No, no, no. I think all those things are actually special and important. I actually believe that. And I think those things are true. I think that just being here with these parents, I think being in New York and honoring my dead friend who did
Mm-hmm.
this work, I think that here watching parents actively mourn their children who were murdered, but they're still fighting this good fight around education.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when people have commentary, it's always somebody else. It's always
Mm-hmm.
what somebody else needs to do. And if you keep waiting for people to come and save you, then I also have a bridge in Iowa that I would love to sell you. That's all. So that's all I'm saying. My thing is, Jude, I'm not denying the racist or white supremacy or power structures. They're there. So now
Yeah.
if you know that they're there, if we've seeded that they're there, well, now what do you do? What what do you do? And
Yeah.
you got to do something. And I think, and there were parents here that have been told because they're shopping other places or they're doing micro schools or they're doing, looking at private options or charters or other traditional schools or schools outside of the city, that is their fault that the system is faltering, that they're taking resources away. I really, really, really hate that. That's like that's like saying, well, slavery would be better if slaves just didn't leave slavery.
Crazy.
It's just dumb. Like I just think, and somebody else said that. Let me give a better example. That's like the prison would be better if these prisoners just stayed. It's like it's not like the system is saying, I'm gonna give you a better product, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make these things better. And so, it was speaking up for the parents both here in Memphis and the people that I saw in Brooklyn, and also just being very tired. I've been on the road for, like, I think going on 7 days. I get to go home tomorrow, and I'll be home for about a week, and then I got to go back on the road. But there are people that don't have access to talk to as many people, because this will get 40 people live, but there'll be like 1,000 or so views or something in a little bit, and just speaking and articulating those things while I also try to help deprogram them from blaming themselves for taking more accountability for a system and a system's failure than we are taking our accountability for our own neighborhoods that have been actively disinvested in. What does actual community love look like? And it's a hard show to broach or concept to explore with three other people in a 4-person panel, because it just requires a certain level of ground setting. But I think the people are enjoying it. Let me know your thoughts. Drop them in. Let us know. I'm very curious. But that is what the conversation is. And also, I don't really love. I love the person who the galla's for, but I don't really love galas. Like, I don't really love being around a bunch of people all the time. So I'd rather hang out with the people that tend to support our work and the things that we publish and produce. You are now fully caught up to this very moment.
Thank you. I'm curious about this panel, though. You said four people on the panel.
Yes. No. I'm talking. I was talking about our 4-person panel.
You're talking about. Oh, okay.
I'm saying it's more difficult to have this conversation when it's a traditional South Star Classroom episode, because we don't have all that much time, and it just requires a longer kind of conversation. The panels were great, though. I did 2 different panels. I did a panel yesterday and one today.
Okay. And the topic for today?
Today was basically the state of education here in Memphis. I've done a lot of research on it, and just, looking at and helping equip these parents so they can understand what the real issues were here.
Yeah.
And just kind of help them navigate it and wade through it and help them process how they're seeing things and just their mindset. These are good people, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to love your school district. There's nothing wrong with wanting to love your superintendent. There's nothing wrong with wanting to love your principal or your president. I'm not saying that, but searching and yearning for that love at the expense of continuing to allow these people to play in your face is killing your children. That's what that was.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for catching me up. I don't have much to add. I just I like your hat.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm grateful people hopped on. And
yes, and Memphis is hot as hell today. So yes.
What's hot as hell? Because
Memphis is hot. Memphis is very hot today.
No, I know, but like, what temperature is hot as hell?
Well, it's not just that it's hot as hell. We're like also in an old school that was built a long time ago. So it's like it may be like high 80s, low 90s, but it can get hotter in the room, and it comes in waves. So it can get hotter. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Nicole says she wonders what my BP is right now.
And
I think you froze for a little bit, but keep talking. You'll be all right.
No, I'm laughing because Nicole said, I wonder what Charles' blood pressure is right now.
Yeah, I was just like, I said that at the same time. My blood pressure is actually fine. This is my resting rate anyway. This is how This is how I normally listen, man. Listen. No, I don't want to hear that from a New Yorker. Stop it. Like, just stop it. Like y'all's personality is this. So like it's all good. Like but even when I got there and saw friends, even the way they say hi and they love me and hug me is aggressive. Okay. You come from the most aggressive state in in the union. All right. I don't
I
want to hear this shit.
object. I object.
Yeah, aggressively. Yes, exactly. Exactly. You know what I'm
Oh my
saying?
goodness.
Look, if I ever date a New York girl, I gotta be ready for her to be like, "I love you, nigga." Like, it's just y'all is aggressive. Y'all aggressive people.
First of
I
all,
love y'all, but y'all an aggressive people.
we
Your pizza is bomb, though. I do enjoy your pizza and your bagels.
I well, you know what? Then I won't rebut what you said. I'll just leave it because you got that part right. So you
I mean,
love
I
our
like
pizza.
Chicago's pizza more,
Here
but
we
I do
go.
love your pizza.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I tell you something out you here though?
Yes.
So I went to the school. It's in Brooklyn, and it's like near Marcy. So I'm
You don't
walking.
want to
I'm
tell me
walking.
the school?
I have to. Honestly, I just got to go. I have to look up the name. I don't remember off
Okay,
the top of
that,
my
I
head.
do want to know. Just curious, but
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
It's one
That's
of the
not.
schools Dirk helped start. It's a really good school. I can look at my calendar and tell you, but I wanted to walk. It was like a 3 mile walk back to. I stayed at. I'm going now, so I can tell people where I stayed at. I stayed at the Marriott across the street from the like the federal building where the Supreme Court. I stayed right across the street from where the
Downtown.
Supreme Court.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a nice little 3 mile walk, and I'm walking, and I'm like, oh shit, like I'm a big hip hop fan, so I'm walking through like I see Marcy, and I'm in Bed Stuy and all that stuff, and
Mm.
then I'm Williamsburg, but then I hit like everything just changed, and I'm still in Brooklyn,
Uh-huh.
but like I'm in like Hasidic Jewish world and land.
Williamsburg.
But here's the thing, and I love Williamsburg. Let me tell you why. I enjoyed being in Williamsburg for the same reason I enjoy being in Chinatowns. I like Chinatowns. Chinatowns to me look the same every city. They look the same, Chicago and Oakland, and San Francisco, whatever. So I'm walking through, but what I saw was it's like, yo, culturally, like it's just them. And it's just they people. And I saw their kids, and it was like at night, like kids are out. Like some of them are like in praise and worship. Some of them are doing like some tutoring things. Like, I mean, a lot you know, I don't know if they looked at me weird or not. I don't want to project things or whatever the case was, but it was fine. It was cool. But I just like seeing people. I like seeing self-determined neighborhoods. You get what I'm saying? Like I really like that. So it was a very interesting experience because it just changed. It was like oh, is that Yiddish? Oh, okay. Like, all right, that's no, I ain't
Yeah.
seen that. Oh,
I
that's
think
oh,
that,
got you.
yeah. I think that they're powerful people, and I think it's what happens when you build a community and nobody bothers you.
Real quick, I have no idea who this Donnell cat is. Donnell, bro, I have not touched these comments. Nobody has muted you or deleted you or anything like that, bro. We just letting the stuff flow. I don't know what the issue is, but God bless. I'm glad you're here listening. You're more than welcome to stay and stay in the conversation. I just wanted to let him know I'm not. I don't. Yes,
Yeah, nobody's
it's
deleting
not a
them.
thing. My hands are over here waving, bro. I've been animated this entire time. When did
Yeah.
we don't have a
Unless
moderator. I'm
YouTube
the
is
moderator, so
yeah, YouTube unless YouTube is filtering, but nobody's doing that. But yeah, I love that you saw that. There is a stark difference, and they are able to build communities and thrive, and nobody bothers them. They usually have their
yeah.
own police services, own schools, own museums, cleaners, bagel shops. They've got their own everything.
I mean,
Does
yeah.
it sound familiar?
Well, it sounds. Let me tell you what sounds familiar, and let me tell you what my people where it sounds familiar. So in Oakland, there's the historic, infamous Bay family. They're a Muslim, the Muslim Bay family. Like they had a part like in North Oakland, kind of going into Emeryville or whatever. But it's like like the Muslim bakery, like that. I love seeing it. I love when I used to have when we were going to school. The men, like part of their mission stuff would be making sure we was walking to school, making sure one nothing happening, keeping people going. You feel me? Like it was really cool. So I just like seeing what self-determined communities look like, even if they're not my community. And it makes me yearn for that. It makes me want that. And when I come to Memphis, I mean, Memphis, like I said, I lived about 150 miles from here in Paducah, Kentucky. It looks very similar. It's a Paducah is way smaller, and these kids is really out here killing each other, man. They
Jesus.
really out here dying, and like people really, if you're not from here, people really don't care. And I've just done a lot of events, man. There isn't an event that I come here where I'm not hugging a mother who has buried her son. I
My
can think
God.
about Jubilee in this sense, like some of them are younger than your son. And like
Wow.
it's just very sad. You didn't see when I came here that last time and I had that video with those. It was a session put on by these mothers. They
Oh,
met.
yes. Yes.
They met because all of them had lost sons and children, and they came together to forgive those people and like pray for their city. Like it's like again, I just a lot of people use these education talks and work. It's kind of a career thing, and that's fine. It's really fine. But we're talking about people's lives, and again, I just at some point it has to switch the switch has to click on of like, yo, we got to get to it. You got to get to a point where you just won't accept the bullshit anymore. And if you're going to be that, another you need a way to walk away from the table. You have to have a way. Like your negotiation means nothing if there's really no stick. You only
Mhm.
carrot. If
Mhm.
there's only carrot and no stick, that's not a negotiation. It's a fleecing. It's pimping.
Mhm.
And that's the talk that I had to really talk. I really talked about pimps and hoes today on this stage in front of these parents. I said, when you are begging somebody to love you, it really sounds like a trick begging a pimp to like, hey, daddy, you love me. Here go your money. You love me now. I don't. I can't. Somebody got to say this shit, man. Because yeah, I can be nice and go to another funeral, and I think it sucks. So anyway,
Do you feel like so? What exactly is your thought around like the strategy? Because are you feeling like families have their focus in the wrong place, like around the school district and superintendent? Like, what do you think their next
it's a good
steps?
question. I
Yeah, it
think
should be.
one is the personal standard that you have for what your kid can endure. I think that and some it's just I think people are doing their best they can and are working hard. So there's no poor shaming or victim shaming. But I think that sometimes you need the switch to you need the light switch to click on in the sense of it's like, why am I protecting this system more than I'm protecting my child? I've used different analogies. I like the analogy I used for a long time, and I still like it. It's like you got a baby and you got a refrigerator, and that baby likes milk and it needs milk to live. And the refrigerator's broken. And the first time it's like, damn, okay, damn, my baby got sick because this refrigerator broke. And that's the refrigerator's fault. That's the power's fault. That's the whatever. But if you keep feeding your baby spoiled milk over and over and over and over and over and over,
Mm,
and then when I say you got to get rid of this fridge, and you like, no, I have to protect this refrigerator. Like the refrigerator company fails if
yeah.
I move on. And again, it's not people have the best intentions, but sometimes you need somebody to show you, what's happening. And I think what I used today, it was a very personal talk today. I talked about going through NA with my parents, like my mom specifically. I went through
Mhm.
like the full thing and I learned, I just loved that experience. Not that my mom was on dope. She got off, but I loved going to NA meetings. It is probably what made me a good speaker and a good storyteller because I
Mhm.
learned then, just saw all these people with these stories. But in NA or AA, it's like you can't help an addict. An addict has to help themselves. You can't want it for them. You
Yeah.
can't want it. You have to, and usually what happens in addiction, you have to hit rock bottom. You have to have a moment where it's like, I can't tolerate this anymore. Like it has to happen in that way. That's the only way for that to kind of work. And I think some of this country has made us addicts in a lot of ways. And again,
Mm.
that's not But I also would know what I know about addiction is this it's a disease. I had to learn how to relove my parents in a different way of like your parents, I don't think that they consciously choosing drugs or alcohol or whatever over you, but it's a disease. It's something that their blood like is itching for it. Like it is their brain needs it to like it's a disease, and you have to treat a disease. And I'm not saying that public education is a disease, but damn it, it ain't far off. The failure of public
That part,
education,
that
the
part is a
failure of it. And I'm not, and I'm just so when we do these shows, and I know I sound like a certain, but I'm like, I'll wherever our kids are, I'll go. But I don't have the same optimism about or the need or desire to save public education in ways that other people do because 2 out of 10 people being able to read over. Man, I'm 41. When I was 14, it was the same problems. Then you go look, when my daddy was 14, it was the same problems. Like I was watching Cooley High the other day, and it's the same problems. It's the same shit. So no, I'm not that hung on saving this shit. And I think, you know when they tried to end slavery, somebody and people was like, well, what will happen when we end this thing? And there were some slaves that were like, no, I don't want to leave. I can't leave. I need whatever. But you know what happened? Motherfuckers adjusted.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
just think that it's like, I don't know. And then the other thing that's interesting about this place is vouchers are on the table. And you hear a lot about vouchers. And I never really got into that fight. But when I saw the numbers today about when as soon as that became available, the flood of parents that was like, I need that. I need
Yeah.
all that money. I need it. I need it. And we need to be able to move. And where I might have had an argument before or said something or been leery of vouchers or whatever, now I'm just kind of like, hey man, good luck. Shit, you can't do much.
Can't
Hey,
do
it's a
worse.
risk. It's a risk, but if it's a chance for salvation, who am I to deny you what you think may be a road to your own personal underground railroad? It may or may not. And guess what? People died on that fucking road too. Like, I mean, listen, everybody didn't make it. So but I gotta be able to fight. Don't take all my agency away. So anyway, I had a good time in my little, my little one man show. I think the people enjoy it. We have a lot of people here live right now. This is one of the biggest live shows I've had. That number has ballooned. So I'm serious. It went from 40 to over 100 and something. So hey, something is working. So yes.
Yeah. I mean, you got me thinking, Charles. I'm always both and maybe for the first time, I'm not saying I'm hopeless. I don't feel hopeless,
Hmm.
but I'm trying to figure out like what is the pathway forward because like you said, the problems are the same. They
Hmm.
they haven't changed. We go from one state to another state to another state to another state. You might find one shining star, right? But it's this bureaucracy, this red tape, and an acknowledgement of the problems. Like I had a conversation last week, something happened at my son's school, and I was like, no, 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 this is violent. Like, nah, we can't
Hmm.
do it. And I was astonished at what I thought was just complacency, like,
Hmm.
and I think that's part of the disease that you speak of, right? Like, do people care overall? Yeah, I think they care, but I do think the care is limited. I think that.
We just lost Jude. Oh, okay. I
Oh,
thought we lost you for a second. You're good. You froze. You back.
okay.
You said
Um,
you speak of it. Yeah, go ahead.
um, I was saying, I think I was saying complacency, like it's the
Hmm.
apathy. It's just like we have gotten desensitized. I think that's a part of the
Hmm.
problem. You know what I mean? So the fire that I feel like we experienced, well, I wasn't here yet in the 70s, right? But in the earlier days, right? In the Black Panther
Hmm.
days, and like that fire, I haven't seen it. I haven't experienced it. That level of urgency where like even just this much is too much. If it's something that's against our kids, if it's something that's against our families, if it's something that's against our community, it's too much. A drop in the
Let,
bucket
let,
is too much.
let me pose this for you then. Let me think of it this way then. This is about to be graphic, but we're adults, and I think it's because the messaging hasn't been working, so maybe this will. Let's say you are in an abusive relationship, nigga just beating your ass. and you got to get away or you're going to die. You, in the back of your mind, you might be like, well, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? But when you get beat to an inch of your life, you just are, I just got to get away and I'll figure it out. Like, and I'm now that is a person. I'm now if you thinking about that as you, now take it, transfer from you to your kids. Your kids are being just beaten and grinded down over and over and over. And I don't know what you do once you get away, but you gotta get away. Like you gotta, you know what I'm saying? So my thing
It's
is, I think people, as somebody who was homeless for so long in my life, and but there was another shelter, or like we survived it. I lived in four of them things. I'm sure my parents didn't have the best plan, but at some point, but they had to. You know what I'm saying? Like you
but
just
they had a fight. Like it
but
sounds like you're
that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Like, and well, people will say, well, we can't hurt the system or we can't do this. We got to prop up the system because what's
no,
next? What will we do? But people
we will
are
figure
saying
it out.
that. But people,
Yes.
and that's what I'm saying, right? Like, at
Yes.
some,
We'll
like
figure it out.
you gotta trust people's survival instincts of
But this is
like,
what I'm saying, Charles. Like I feel like if we got 1,000 people, right, and just
mhm,
a random school district, I don't know.
right.
I feel like in a random school district, if you got 1,000 people that are running the school district, you might have 3 that have that level of fire and urgency, and that's the problem because you've got to go through the bureaucracy of all the other people. And I feel like to your point in terms of getting out of an abusive relationship, there is that whole psychological piece, and that's what I'm talking about, the desensitization of like what's when enough is enough, like the fact that we're not picking it up, like we're not the temperature is not being picked up, right? It's not being picked up. And so now you're at a point where it's like, yes, I know I'm being beat, but what's the alternative? And
Well,
starting to,
yeah.
and I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying this is the evidence that I see when I'm going back to what you said about it being a disease, right? This is
Mhm.
what happens when the disease takes over. It's like the things that should trigger you, the things that should cause you to run and get away and change and try something new become a security blanket, become the very thing that comforts you because, well, the enemy I know is the devil I know is better than the devil I
I
don't.
understand that.
And so here we are again, another school year, another, we're here back like we never left because we didn't. And that's what I'm saying. There's a psychological piece there as well. And I think what I hear you saying also is the plan is not needed before the departure,
I
right? Like,
mean, not if you're gonna die. Not, not, not,
it's-
not if more people gonna die. Not if 2 out of 10 is reading,
yeah.
and you can throw a rock, you can leave kids alone, and two out of 10 is gonna figure out how to do that the same way a kid knows an iPad better. But let me pose it this way, so a way that might speak to you on a personal level, right? Uh, you got immigrant parents or grandparents, one of them, right? Think
Oh,
about immigrants. Think about think about people where bombs is going off in a country. And I've heard so many stories from Asian folks, from Jamaican folks, from Caribbean folks, from Haitian folks. That's like, I came over here with $10 in my pocket, and I figured, you know what I'm saying? Like, so again, right? Like these people had aspirations. They had strong aspirations. They just knew they deserved something better, but they had to get off that island. They had to get on that boat. They had to. There are people from Ecuador that are risking life and limb with babies on their backs, with fucking coyotes, like getting them across just so they can touch American soil because there's hope here. And once they get here, that hope is driving them. So if you are escaping this terrible education system like an immigrant and you just need the hope, and you see once you get out, and then it's like, well, what are my options that I got? And then you start to put some shit together. That next generation, that kid becomes a fucking Rhodes Scholar. Like what I'm saying is, like, the desire has to get to a place where you almost willing to accept death by your own, by like going out on your own, as opposed to letting this thing kill you. Like
mm,
my parents had to get out of addiction because it would have eventually killed them. My mother's best friend, so my mother and her best friend Dina had me and her, and Dina had her daughter we're both Leos, I guess, right? And she named her August. I grew up with August, and they were in it. My mother and Dina were in their addition together. And I think the thing that woke up my mother is that August found Dina OD. She found her mama dead.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? It's like sometimes there needs to be a catapulting event where you just like, I gotta stop this. This thing will kill me. This thing will kill me. And I know some people could be watching this and being like, and if you're watching this and you're like, damn, this is really dramatic. Because you're talking about a lot of death. I've buried a lot of fucking kids. And you as an educator and your other educator friends, if I say reflect, have you ever lost a student or a student that was adjacent to you and they die? Like our kids are actually dying. When I talk about test scores, I don't give a fuck about a test score per se. I'm talking about the level of clarity and predictable accuracy that these test scores are providing, not about who's just going to have a good job or go to jail or go to college, but on who dies. It is that I'm in Memphis, Tennessee. Just go look up Memphis, Tennessee gun violence. Memphis, Tennessee youth on youth violence. Memphis, Tennessee kid murders such and such. Memphis, Tennessee young Dolph and the people in the gang war that's continued since then. Like it's really that dire for a lot of people. Education, regardless of how terrible these colleges are getting, which I got smoke for, I've talked about, but it's still that college degree for the time being is still one of the biggest determining factors of if you will be able to live the type of life you want to live. It's not the only way. It ain't the only way, but it's still that. So like if we can't have this real conversation and if you feel guilty about this or you feel like because you're not perfect, you can't advocate for that or you got to prop up this school, like help your school. Always do that. But I'm just saying, it's not a coincidence that in Memphis the numbers suck, in Chicago the numbers suck, in California the numbers suck, in Iowa the numbers suck. And they always tend to suck for fucking black kids. So tell me, and people are still rich. I don't think you caught the beginning. Like, there's a $1.8 billion budget here or something like that. And most of them people, the people that's making the most money, they don't live in Memphis.
Wow.
They kids don't go to school in Memphis. What I asked for at the beginning of the hour, I said, this might be my next study. I might personally fund this myself. I want to do on the worst districts in the country. I want to do a study, whether it's teachers or C-suite or a combination of how many of those people, A, live in the city that they serve, and B, if they have children school age or out of school age, how many of those kids actually attend the schools that they represent? Because I can do it from a different place because I worked in OUSD. And you want me to tell you something?
Yep.
Most of those kids were not a part of OUSD. So if that's the case, if they ain't even willing to save the fucking district, if they don't even believe in their own product, why are you propping it up? That's where I'm at with it. And I'm not blaming nobody for making that decision, but what it's telling me is clarity for me because you are an engaged, knowledgeable. I'm talking about a person that works in the district, not you specifically. Because guess what? If I had a kid, I'd do what the fuck I want to with my kids. They're my kid.
Yeah,
but I'm looking at it like not. I'm like, this person has more insider information than anybody else, and they ain't putting their kid there. So how are these people guilt tripping you about where you put yours? You out your damn mind.
Mm-hmm.
You out your mind. You are out of your mind. And what I'm saying is wherever I just don't love the system. I'm just not wearing, I love the system. I love charters. I love private. I don't like, fuck a system. I love our people and use these systems to work for you and use them against each other. Play them off. I don't care. But like, you have to have some type of negotiation power. And if you're not willing to leave, your negotiation is worthless. Come yell at us all you want. I'm getting my ADA money. Or be organized. If you dedicated to staying in that system, then you know what? At least show that you can hurt the purse. All right. Like, cool. Boycott Target all you want. You know what? Fuck Target. I want to see parents boycott 20-day count. Teachers go on strike every other week when some shit don't go their way. Cool. And parents and teachers support them all the time. Will they support you when you say, guess what? We holding our kids for the first 20 days until this shit get better. Now let's see what happens. If you really want to shake some shit up, then shake some shit up. But all this little tapping and rub, this ain't shaking. This is caressing. That's fine. We'll put another superintendent out there. Go get yelled at. And then we got a nice parachute for you when you sick of this shit in 3 years. That's all. Anyway.
Not that's all.
That's all. I'm gonna go get ready for this. I'm gonna go to this gala. Let me put my jacket back on in front for
you
the
had
people.
on a jacket? I need a
Not a real
jacket.
no, not a real jacket. No. I didn't go get all fancy. I'm just saying, let me put my clothes back on so I can go over to the next room where my seat is waiting for me. It is reserved.
You gonna eat pigs in a blanket?
No, I don't think that's what the chefs prepared. I don't know what they got. Maybe hell, they might have. I don't know. But I'm here to honor my friend, and I will. But that's what I'm just saying, man. Oh, let me see. Demetria said, let me go out so I can see these chats. She said, several homeschool families have a catalyst event that led to divesting. Absolutely. I know. I've talked to a lot of these people. Nicole said, victims may eventually call on someone who they know who will fight for them, create next steps for them, rescue them, talk some sense into them. Well, stop waiting for people to save you. I mean, maybe somebody will by the grace of God, but I think if you're waiting for somebody to save you, on some level, you might not deserve, but you get what you get. Donnell said, keep growing. And Nicole said, as far as wanting more for our children, we've been conditioned to be satisfied with mediocrity and don't know what more or better is. But guess what? If you can articulate that, and if people in the community can articulate that, then at some point, your agency has to step in and it becomes you. It becomes like, if you know that and you're not willing to change it, listen, I know I'm fat right now. I know I ain't hitting my goals. You know why? It is my fault. It ain't. I know that they put sugar in everything. It is, but that's what I'm saying. Until it's something, as long as you keep saying something is somebody else's fault and it's somebody else's responsibility, guess what? Your ass gonna keep getting fat. You're gonna keep snacking at 11:30 at night, like I love to do. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna be mad that you got love handles. You feel me? So all I'm saying is just your boy gotta lose some weight, B. Like, I want to be here. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is, man, this has been do you wear glasses again permanently? No, these are actually they're not prescription, but they are blue blocking glasses. So I speak a lot, and they also just look good. They just look dope. But I stare at screens all day. And because I have LASIK, the doctor, when I got it, was just saying, you're fine, you don't have to, but if you can prevent eye strain, here are some things that you can do. And I like wearing glasses when I want to, but not needing to or not needing contact. So that's the answer, Nicole. But yes, but I do have to go now, though. So is there anything you want to say before I head out?
Nope. I'm good to go. And I'm holding my phone up, so I can't do my hearts today. So can you please do them?
I can't. I turned that shit off on my phone. I mean, on my it's off on my laptop.
Okay, that means that you owe me hearts next.
I don't owe you. Oh, there you go. There you go.
All right, enjoy your gala.
You are such a girl. You're such a girl. You know what? I can't deal with you. This is why David and Omar manage you. This is why. I can't do it. Y'all are children, okay? All three of y'all are children. All of you, okay? You know why it did work? Because on my setup at home in my studio is where I turned it off. I need to turn it off on my damn laptop.
No, you should keep it because you're gonna need that. You need that.
I don't need it. I don't need that. But for Omar and David, that's Jubilee. I am Charles, and we will see you all next week. Same bad time, same bad station. People, never say I don't love you, because I just gave you an hour and 25 minutes, mostly solo. And it was damn entertaining. So,
and don't forget to subscribe.
Please subscribe. Right. Please subscribe. Please like. Please comment. Share this with people. Please share it and put a message on it. And if you screenshot it and shoot me a text or let me know, I will be sure to shout you out. With that being said, sign off from Memphis. We got love for y'all. Jubilee, I don't know if you driving back to New York or you in
No, I'm about to go home. I'm
DC.
home.
I don't know where DC is. I don't know where home is. You live everywhere. So I just
I'm every people.
Oh, did I tell you that I had juniors? Did you see my juniors thing?
I didn't. You had juniors? Really?
But let me tell you though, right? So I said, all right, I said, listen, I've been hearing about juniors, not just from Diddy, but just all around juniors. So I'm here. I went to the original juniors, where Fabulous like to shoot videos and
Downtown
shit.
Brooklyn.
I was there. That's where I
Okay.
went.
All right.
They was very nice and sweet to me.
Okay.
I
Okay.
definitely had a little bit of motion in New York. I'm not gonna hold you. Very aggressive young lady. Y'all girls are just aggressive. I've just never. I have a new perspective on what women might go through for men because y'all women are super aggressive. All right, like I was like, oh my god, ma'am,
I think
please stop.
we're very kind, very sweet, very
Aggressive.
demure, very demure.
Shit. Okay,
And
stop it. Take it out your
we're
vocabulary.
in our soft girl era, soft girl life,
I heard
soft
that.
girl decade, all the things. But okay, go ahead.
So I said, what is the suggestion? Because I'm from Oakland. They said, okay, I got two. One was the original cheesecake with the
Strawberries.
strawberry with the glaze on, and then I did the Oreo. So I did a little test,
Okay.
and that first one, the original with the strawberry with glaze, it's just a regular ass cheesecake, B. It's just a regular ass cheesecake. I will say this though, because I was disappointed because that was the one they was hyping up, and then the other waitress was also very nice. Came to me on the back end and was like, "Guess what? Listen, okay, I would not have suggested that because it's just sugar. I think you're gonna like the Oreo one." And you know what? The Oreo one was different. That was nice. So if you do every Junior's Oreo cheesecake was good. But for y'all New Yorkers that think that Justin's is just the best, when you in
Right, it's
Oakland, go to Nations. You can go to the Nations and go to Nations in Jack London and get you some cheesecake from there. Get one of the pies of cheesecake
Ooh,
from
you
there.
would shade my borough like that and
I didn't shade it. I love Brooklyn. I love Brooklyn. I don't know if it's my favorite borough, but I do love Brooklyn. My favorite
Well,
New
it's
York
my favorite
music.
borough.
I went because you're from there. My favorite New York borough for music is Queens, but I do respect Brooklyn. I do. I think
Thank you.
Brooklyn is top heavy on rappers. I think it's top heavy. I think Queens has a solid historic roster when you're talking about 50 and Nicki Minaj and like
Respect.
Mob Deep, stuff like that. So I like the Queens people. I do.
Yeah, I respect all the boroughs. I'm just starting to get over my dislike for Bronx because my Bronx people were like, you always say something negative about us. So I'm trying to pull back from my Bronx stuff.
I mean, you sound like Cardi B, so I mean, you know what I'm saying? Is
now I
not
sound like Cardi B.
No,
Last
Remy,
week you
like
said I
Remy.
sound
You
like
sound like
Remy
Remy.
Ma.
You sound like Remy,
Do
not
y'all
Cardi.
think I
You
sound like
Remy.
Remy Ma? No, I need to play in the comments.
You absolutely sound like Remy Ma. You 100%. When she was talking to Papoose, looking into the camera like this and talking and trying to act like she wasn't mad when she was mad as hell, she sounded like Jubilee. So Jubilee, you and Remy both need to be nicer to Papoose. With that being said, let that man move on with his life with his new world champion girlfriend that's out here knocking. And she also needs to listen, man. Clarissa knocks people out. Like she knocks dudes out. Like y'all better be easy, okay? I don't want Remy to get another gun charge. Remy shoots people. Clarissa knocks people out. I don't want to see that clash. No, that's what she went to jail for. Yes.
Listen. Okay.
Somebody played with her. Her hairdresser played with her, and something happened. Yeah, and she went to jail for it. Listen, the girls in hip hop is realer than the dudes, man. Little Kim went to jail for a gun. Listen, man, I gotta go. Love you, Jules.
I want to know, do these people think I sound like Remy Ma? I want them to put it in the chat, or y'all could DM Charles.
Somebody go ahead and tell this girl
you want to do research and a survey. I want to see that. That's the data I want to know.
We'll do something. I'll take your face off and be like, I had Remy Ma on the show, and people, and then I'll have tons of you. Hey, guess what? You ready? You ready for this, Jew?
Demetrius,
count down from 3. There you go. I'm leaving now.
Demetria, how could you do this to me? How?
You sound because she wanted to have Remy Ma say something back to her, and she got it. Because you sound just like I love Rem. I love Rem. I'm sad that they're going through it. It's tough to have a breakup and to have to do it in public sucks. Anyway, stop.
Wait, one more thing. I got one more thing. Wait. Can y'all please go subscribe to It's Jubilee TV and watch Morning Cup of Jubilee? It's Jubilee TV.
On YouTube, on TikTok?
On YouTube.
Okay.
That's
Next show, just give us the link and we'll make sure it's up and you can promote it the whole time. Actually, you can
Okay.
put it where it says restart as CEO. Just put
Yes.
it in there. There you go.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
Bye. Drive safely,
Bye.
Jube. Get off the phone.
Bye.
Bye.